vio la cara me dijo, ¡ay bendito! Mi padre no es John Travolta, mamá no es Iris Chacón. Con esta cara que tengo se tienen que conformar.
No me eche la culpa, yo no lo pude evitar. Con la cara que Dios me ha dado se tienen que conformar.
Hola, I am filmmaker Fernando Flores, interviewing Grammy Award winner Eddie Palmieri's lead singer, HERMAN Olivera. Pa' que lo sepa.
Al cantar yo soy la voz de aquellos soneros que de chiquillo me inspiraron a soñar. A son de rumba con salsa, boleros son cha-cha-cha, con sus mensajes sentidos de la vida en general. Ellos sembraron el árbol del cual yo soy heredero, de la clave del sabor de aquellos grandes soneros, de la clave del sabor de aquellos grandes soneros.
My hometown, right? It's Herman. But I'm known as HERMAN Olivera. I am a son of Puerto Rican parents who migrated here in the 1950s to the city of Newark, New Jersey in 1956. I was born in 1959 in St. Michael's Hospital, right on what's called now Martin Luther King. It was called High Street and Central Avenue. I was born there in 1959, January 30th, 1959, which makes me 60 years young. I grew up here. I went to school. I went to Peshine Avenue School. I witnessed the riots in the 1967. My father sent my mother, my sister, and me to Puerto Rico during the riots. When we returned from the riots, we went to live on South 7th Street, and I went to South 10th Street School for about 3 months. And while my father had done all the paperwork and applications were being done to move us into the housing projects of Seth Boyden, which is located in the southernmost part of the tail end of Newark, New Jersey, which is the city line of on the city line of Elizabeth, New Jersey. And that's where I came to live at the age of 8 years old. And I lived there. I went to Dayton Street School. I graduated from Dayton Street School, and I went to high school at Newark Tech. I graduated from high school in 1976. I grew up in a very multi-ethnical, multicultural projects. We were whites, blacks, Latinos, all as one big family. One big family, man. I never knew what racism was or being prejudiced was. That doesn't exist in my world. You know what I mean? So, you know, I had a very, very beautiful upbringing by 2 loving parents and a sister, loving mother, loving father, loving sister, and great friends who I grew up with in the projects. And I still carry those memories with me till today. You know, I think about all my people who have passed on to a better life, and those of us who are still behind here in the struggles, the daily life in this world that we live in. I started performing at the age of 15 years old. I started performing with different groups, local groups in New Jersey, La Orquesta La Justicia, La Orquesta La Sónica, El Conjunto Caramelo. And it was back in the 70s, man, when, I fell in love with what we call salsa music. Salsa is really a terminology that they use to describe the different rhythmic patterns, which are la rumba, el guaguancó, la guaracha, el son montuno, you know. But before I even became in love with the genre that which I perform, I was in love, and I still am, with black music. You know, I grew up with black R&B, with the Motown sound. You know, Marvin Gaye, The Temptations, Smokey Robinson, Diana Ross. You know, I had the Carpenters. You know, I went into rock, Led Zeppelin, and, you know, Santana, who I was a huge fan of, and plus the trio music, which was played in my home. My father had an extensive record collection of all the great music of all the singers and groups of all Latin America. So my father was very responsible for putting me on this course of music listening sessions, of listening to great music. And that we would do on Sundays, because my dad worked all week and went to school, you know. And then on Sundays, my father would turn on, after church, he would turn on the record player, man. And that would go on from 12 o'clock to like 6 o'clock in the evening. So it was like 6 hours of nonstop. It was like he had his own radio program right now. And I got a huge musical education, you know, with trio music, with vocal music, you know, the greatest vocalists that came out of Puerto Rico, of all Latin America, you know. And so meanwhile, I'm getting fed my roots here, but outside the door in the hallway, I was listening to James Brown and Michael Jackson and Jackson 5, you know what I mean? And the Motown sound, Smokey Robinson, Temptations, and the Four Tops. And then you get this boom of this new music that comes out, like 1970, after the Shingaling and the Boogaloo era, you know, and those are the granddaddies of this music, you know what I mean? And so I fell in love with the music of my musical godfather, Mr. Eddie Palmieri. I fell in love with the music of Hector Lavoe, who influenced me. Cheo Feliciano influenced me. Chamaco Ramirez influenced me. Ismael Rivera influenced me. Rafael Cortijo influenced me. Ismael Quintana influenced me. Peter El Conde Rodriguez influenced me. You know, all these luminaries, all these big stars of the 70s, they're my idols, and those icons were my idols, and the people that I emulated and I looked up to, and not knowing what my destiny was going to be. You know, I'm just a humble kid coming out of the projects, man, out of North New Jersey, with a lot of adversities, and everything is going fast, man. You know, there's a lot of drugs in the neighborhood, there's gangs, there's warfare, there's you know, there's peer pressure, you know, and you're trying to find out where do you fit. You know, I wasn't much of a sports guy. I never played sports. So that was out. I didn't want to be in a gang because I don't like violence or what that brings. So you either were in a sports team, in a gang, or you were in a band. So I chose to be a musician. I chose the band because I love music. And that was my ticket out of the ghetto and out of the streets, you know. But I still maintain my essence, and I know where I come from. I've never forgotten that.
So is there any instruments that you play that you really enjoy playing instrument-wise?
Well, I'm a vocalist. I'm on over 60 musical productions, nominated 8 times Grammy, 2 Grammy winners with Mr. Eddie Palmieri, and I've been nominated on countless projects, about 8 or 9 nominations. I've recorded with just about everybody in the industry, and I got to work with a lot of my influences and a lot of my heroes, which is a big blessing to me, you know, because I thought that would never happen. That wasn't supposed to happen, you know.
How do you keep your vocals in shape? Is there anything special that you do?
It's a gift. It's a gift. I take very good care of myself. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't waste you know, my energy on negative things. You know, and as I've gotten older, I've learned how to take care of myself even more and take care of my instrument more, so that I'm able to work. You know, so that I'm able to work, and I just rest and take good care of myself, man. Exercise, you know, and take good care of myself.
So comparing the artists from the time when you first came into business and looking at the artists now, is there any different comparisons? Like some of the stuff that, you know, I know they got this, you know, internet, they got different, you know, programs that you can use now that wasn't even available back then. What would you say is, you know, totally different? Like, give us a, you know, then and now that you know, kind of see different.
Well, Antonio, program meaning as of when you go to recording studio.
Right.
Well, back then there was an auto-tune or Melodyne or Pro Tool. That means when you got in front of that microphone, you had to do it. It was a one-take thing, man, and you had to do it. You had to do it. You either sang, you either can sing or you can't sing. You know what I mean? There was no fixing it up and let's fix you up, and there was no auto-tune, no Melodyne, no Pro Tools. That was direct.
So what was the difference in the family structure from now to then? Like back when you came up, the family was more family oriented. You said, what do you miss from that's not there today?
What's not there today? Well, in my own family nucleus, my father and my sister, who have gone on,
Right.
passed on, and it's just my mom and me.
Gotcha.
Do you collaborate with others, and what is that process like, if you do?
Of course, I've just did a great record with Nino Segarra, who's a very excellent vocalist, very well known in the genre, has had a lot of success. Choco Horta.
Algo que tiene que ver con el canción que el cubo es esa que me quiere.
Mira, negra,
Es bella.
querido amigo, quisiera
Ajá.
que al recibirla presente, querido amigo, quisiera que al recibirla presente se hallen bien y que la suerte los acompañe por doquiera, se hallen bien y que la suerte los acompañe por doquiera. A nombre de Choco Horta, también Germán Olivera. A nombre de Choco Horta, también Germán Olivera. Un saludo muy cordial y las gracias le quiero dar por ese apoyo sabroso que nos dieron aquí en Suiza, por ese cariño bonito que nos dieron aquí en Suiza. Somos la combinación.
Y yo tengo una sonrisa, yo me siento muy contenta, contenta con este binomio, porque somos los maestros del binomio. Choco locochón soy yo, mulato ya yo me voy, se me acabó la peseta, ya yo no tengo respuesta, pero si quieres seguir, entonces voy por ahí. Sabrosa la rumba, no me quiero despedir, te doy toda mi bendición y sigue bien por ahí. Chágale cochón, chica,
He de seguir guarachando, nena.
y yo estoy gozando choco locochosamente.
Que Dios te bendiga.
También te bendiga a ti.
Vamos a seguir cantando,
Vamos a seguir
vamos a seguir
gozando.
vacilando.
Como
Ahí
dice
vamos a seguir
Yancongo,
cantando.
vamos a
Ahí
seguir
vamos a seguir
guarachando,
vacilando. Que
guarachando,
la gente no está
gozando.
escuchando. El público lo está bailando.
Boricua,
Yo soy boricua, pa' que tú respetes. Yo soy boricua,
desde los teatros,
pa' que tú respetes.
te quiero
Nene,
también,
yo soy boricua,
y yo también,
pa' que nos respeten.
te quiero mi bien,
Y yo te quiero a ti,
y yo te quiero más,
y yo te quiero así,
está bien,
sencilla como es. ¡Échale! Mira cómo dice.
sabroso, Germán Olivera, aplauso para
Vaya
el maestro.
Choco. Aplauso para Choco Horta. Te quiero y te amo. Dios te bendiga siempre, mi negra.
H para ti, mucho H. Ricky González, te quiero y te amo.
Y
Un
exceso
aplauso para
músico.
esta orquesta.
May Peters.
Vaya, todos los muchachos aquí, a Willy y a
Beto.
Johnny en las vocales.
Sonido. Willy, Johnny.
¡Qué humanidad!
Oh.
Así es la humanidad. Oye, es la pura realidad, camarada.
¡Qué humanidad! Yo fui Germán pa' gozar.
El mensaje está claro. Lo único que necesitamos es humildad,
¡Qué
unidad.
humanidad! Yo fui Germán pa'
Van
gozar.
a decir mañana en el noticiero que los soneros pusieron a la gente a
¡Qué
temblar.
humanidad! Yo fui Germán pa'
En
gozar.
una tarima no podemos contender. Solo tenemos que
¡Qué
comprender.
humanidad! Yo fui Germán pa' gozar.
Y vamos a seguir cantando. Y vamos a seguir cantando. Que la gente quiere más.
¡Qué humanidad! Yo fui
Así más,
Germán
así
pa'
más.
gozar.
Nos vemos el año que viene. So long. Adiós. Goodbye.
¡Qué humanidad! Yo fui Germán pa' gozar.
Bueno, muy buenas noches a todos. Gracias, Stefano, Albert Torres. Gracias, gracias a todos ustedes.
This has been Fernando Flores here with Herman Olivera, and it's been my pleasure interviewing you with Antonio Younger. We look forward to interviewing you again in the future.
Well, the pleasure is all mine, and thank you, Fernando, and thank you, Antonio. The pleasure is all mine, and I'm looking forward to part 2.